In the search for more Latin type of decks, I came across this one. It's called the Tarot Neocolonial de las Americanas of the Americas. And I have no idea what it looks like. I actually saw it for sale on US Games, and so I picked it up. I didn't pay full price. I paid a sell price. They had one of these things going on during the holidays, Thanksgiving, and so forth. So I bought it a while ago. It's looked interesting to me. So let's open it up together and see what this deck is all about because I haven't even looked at a review. I have no idea what it looks like. So this is the first time I'm actually seeing it with you all here on Tarot with a Twist. All right, a little self plug. Got to do that, right? And if you do like what I'm doing here, go ahead and sign up for my newsletter so you can keep up to date. You go to wordwithtwist.com/subscribe and you'll get all my updates. I try to send it out once or twice a week. Not too much, but I think you'll rather enjoy it because some of the content is not available to the public. Members only. Members are free or paid. That's your choice how you want to go about that. So here's a guidebook, and it looks actually pretty thick for a guidebook. It's big as well, right? I like that. Let's see. They do have some spreads in here, but let's just see. So the guidebook looks like what? It has introduction. It has a source of inspiration. Then it goes into the meaning of the cards, which is cool. The Spanish as well as the English. Let's see. Yep. So it's just typical meanings. I'm sure it has some flavor on it for the Latin vibe. And I'm seeing here that he goes, or whomever wrote this, created this little book, Patrick. So he goes into young shadow archetype. It also speaks of the temptation of going against one's own mortal principles due to confusion, chaos, and an unclear sense of purpose. That's the devil. So it'd be worth reading this little guidebook because I think it will help you maybe look at things a little bit differently than what you commonly see normally. It's always good to get different representation of cards and different ways to look at them because it really helps you in your readings and helps you grow your practice. So they have a typical 3-card spread, right? Nothing fancy, just your typical one. Let's see. Then he has, that is it. A typical 3-card spread. That's all we got, folks. So now we're going to go ahead and look at the cards and see what they're all about. Okay. The box got a little ribbon, but it is cardboard, which is kind of nice. So does that mean the cardboard comes out? No, I'm not going to pull it apart, but the box comes out, but I'm going to leave it alone. So what you do is you just have this laid down on top like that. And when you want to get the card, just can pull it up, right? It's nice and easy. And again, the box is nice, so it's a keepsake. It's going to last a long time. Take care of it. Puts you to the side here. And the cards themselves, I like that. They're kind of narrow, which is really cool compared to a traditional tarot deck or the traditional size, because these are actually traditional size as well, but common size, see the difference? They're about the same width, but they're shorter. So, sorry, they're longer. You see how like this normal card here, it's on top. So the width is about the same, but the length, it's about what, a ½ inch or so. So a little bit longer, which is actually kind of cool. All right. Let's go ahead and open this up and review this. Now, what I'm going to do also, I'm going to lay out the minors side by side so you can look at how each card compares with the suits. And the reason why I do it is because the cups, wands, and swords is what manifests the pentacles. And you can kind of see how the different numbers, like the 1, 2, 3, 4, and so forth, align with each other. But we'll start off with the majors. Move this out of the way. So give me a second to get this card deck kind of set up for us, and then we'll get into it. Okay, so everything's separated out, and the card quality is actually nice. So they definitely have a gloss on them, and you can see the back of the cards. They're actually kind of cool. They're not reversible, which I'm actually fine with that these days. You know what's funny about reversibles? I was thinking about this. Somebody asked a question a long time ago. Do you read reversibles, yes or no? And you get different opinions. People are like, yeah, of course, it gives more meaning. But the more I think about it, you don't need it reversed because if you're doing a spread, that's why it's important to use spreads. People are going to disagree with that, but I don't really care. If you're using spreads and you land in a certain position, like the blocker, then that kind of already tells you what it is or like what to release or what to embrace. So the same card either way is going to answer for you whether it's upright or reversed because you have to take that meaning. Anyway, with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the walkthrough of the major. So the first card is the Fool. I like that. Next is the Magician. The animals, that's really cool, actually. Laptops, kind of modern, too. The High Priestess. Or the Popess. I really like this deck. I wish the borders weren't so much, but still, regardless to say, I really like it. It has a cool vibe to it. The Empress. You can really feel the sense there of like nurturing, abundance. Also reverse, right? You get a little bit of recklessness, right? Overindulgence. You can feel that as well in the card. So you don't need it reverse. See what I'm saying? It depends on the question. Next is the Emperor. Roosters. That's cool. At the White House or something? I think so. The Pope. This is the Hierophant. Okay, I don't know. This might just be me. Okay? But doesn't that kind of look like Trump to you? And Ronald McDonald, the clown? Or am I seeing things? Okay, right now on this card, drop down in the comments, put down 5, and tell me who you think this is. I'm going to get the guidebook on this one because that kind of like throws me for a loop, right? So let's go to the High Priestess here, the Hierophant here, card number 5, and see what it says about that. What is that? Hold on. I didn't realize that this deck was actually modern. It's actually kind of cool. Holding the satellite dish with one hand while blessing the supplicants, the Pope sits firmly in the middle as a mediator, not just between heaven and earth, but between past and present. The familiar-looking supplicant represents the rich, those in power and corporations. It could be Trump or just a CEO in general. They take inspiration from the first transnational corporation in history, the church. A dollar bill with the all-seeing eye from the Great Seal can be seen above the Pope. Oh, right there. This deck is way cooler than I thought. I'm telling you, this is interesting. This reminds us of the power and influence of institutionalized fictions in human civilization. In times of peace, the market takes over and the economy flourishes with the free flow of goods and ideas. But this holy emissary can also become a purveyor of propaganda in favor of those in powerful positions to keep control over the masses. That is so true. In the seascape behind, we see a Spanish caravel and a modern day cargo ship. Okay, they're in there. See that? This brings to mind the Columbian Exchange, which started in 1492 and was a great turning point in local ecospheres, biology, and cultures around the globe. This card marks the dawn of a new globalized age. The Pope is not just about the power of religion, but of the power of belief. The belief in a capitalist creed and system based on common trust. In God we trust. Yeah, without God, you ain't got nothing. In pieces of paper and the myth of perpetual growth in the name of profit. Isn't that so sad? See, so you see how they said right there? Gosh, my camera's a little off. Sorry about that. It was blurry. As I'm reading, I can't really see the screen to monitor this. But in God we trust, right? So trying to say that the system is all around common trust, but it's not. It's about greed, right? And when you hear people talk about the 10 Commandments, I'm going off target here, and how they say, like, don't take the Lord's name in vain, that's not using profanity. People try to say that, but it's not what it means. What it means is taking reality and twisting to something that's not. So saying that, well, God's about, allowing people to become rich. No, that's twisting it. It's not about corporations. Corporations aren't people. Now, I'm all about making money. That's a good thing. But today, we don't have that. We're now typing this socialistic utopia, and it's becoming a nightmare, but they want to make it about God, and it's not, right? That's taking God's name in vain. Let me keep going here. This card speaks of orthodoxy, dogmatism, and sanctimony, but also reveals our own naivety, how we're suspect to conforming to rules of society. It is servitude and submitting blindly to an unquestioned belief imposed by tradition and mass consent. Remember what happened a couple years back? In a reading, this card can also be interpreted as receiving guidance and counsel from an old mentor. So this deck is actually better than I thought. I had no idea what this was about. I thought it was more around like Latin vibes, but this is really a deep deck. Okay, the Lovers. So I would recommend too reading the book. It's going to be very important to you. The Car, the Chariot, Justice. Hmm. The Hermit. That's interesting. The Wheel of Fortune. Strength. That's cool. Holding the little leopard. Is that what that is? Yeah, I think it is. But no gun. You see the gun on the ground is holding a bat. Interesting. Maybe that's about the willpower not to take out the animals. Because he's not killing them. They're still sitting there. And take strength not to wipe out things. Maybe that's what it's talking about, the way it's pictured here. See, the Hangman. That's wild. And we have the Death card. Yep, comes to everybody. End of the day, everything you have means nothing. It all goes away, doesn't it? Temperance, balance. The Devil. That's a cool Devil card, actually. Oh my God, look at this. Check this out, guys. So, if you look at the card, what's in their hand? Cell phones, prison phones. Isn't that what we're trapped in? And look at the TV screen, Fox News, not Fox FOX, but Fox News, FAUX, right? Fake news. I'm really loving this deck. I think I fell in love with it. This is a really cool deck. I actually can use this in political reads, right? Or cultural readings. This is awesome. But yeah, we're bound to what these phones, and we choose to do that. You notice how the chains aren't even on the devil himself; they're on your ankles and your wrists, holding these cell phones. All you gotta do is let go, put them down, get your freedom back. But we won't. But we won't because we're so complacent in everything, eating, and look at the people too. There's being eaten. Is that people? I don't know what they are, pigs, whatever, but they're being eaten, right? Gluttony, the seven deadly sins. This is a really cool card. Next is the Tower. I'm really glad I bought this deck. And notice how it goes from old times to new times, right? The tower, that's like a prison tower or an airport tower or something like that. Interesting. I keep saying that, but this is interesting. Next is the Star, hope, faith. I was getting the vibe of like regeneration. Okay. Now we have the Moon. I don't get that card. Not in the traditional sense because what? There is a two dog, so that's the wild man and domesticated man, the wolf and dog. But then you have to get to the spaceship, I guess, to get you out of here, to get you out of this chaos. Maybe that's what it's about. The world's just a freaking chaotic mess. You have to basically break free to raise your elevation to leave the animal plane because man just have destroyed everything. And you're afraid all the time. You're running in fear. Maybe that's what it means. Next is the Sun. I am really loving this deck. Polar bear right there. Okay. Next is Judgment. This is wild, man. This is a really great deck. Judgment. I had no idea. This is really throwing me for a loop. I did not even picture this in a million years, this deck. And you have the world. Wow. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and raise the camera a bit because I want to hit the minors. We're going to do them across and compare them one by one. I think I like doing it like that better than just keeping them, one at a time. It's nice to see how they work together. All right, because these are your daily tasks. Remember, major arcanas are all around your soul. They're all around big life-changing events, where the minors, which are these cards, are more around your day-to-day tasks and so forth. So keep that in mind. So we're going to hit it up with Pentacles first, Cups in the middle. Cups are emotions. Remember that? Emotions, relationship, things like that. Next is the Wand, which is your fire. So this is water, fire. This is earth. And the fire is all around your desires, your passions, even your work, whatever. And then you have the mind, clarity, the swords, air. Okay. Actually, these really almost fit because they're nice and narrow. But I'm gonna bring the camera up just a touch to make sure I get everything in for us as we compare these one by one. Give me a second here. Okay, so we have the aces here, right? Ace of coins, cups, wands, and swords. So that's an interesting take on it because pentacles is everything is materialized and it's wealth in a sense. So a new way to materialize something in this world. The cups is around emotions, something new love, new emotion, new happiness, new joy, something like that. The wands are, see, here's more around harvesting. It's food is what fuels you, what keeps you going. So it's your fire, because without the food, your fire is drained. You have no life force, right? So maybe that's what they're going at with this card on the fire position. And then the swords is mind, right? King, hand, executive, leadership, building things, clarity, communication, and so forth in order to build a city. That's kind of how I'm reading that. Next, we have the twos. Okay. It's wild because they kind of go between modern and past. Because here you're juggling a decision. And what's interesting, you have the skull and then the all seeing eye. So this is also really rooted in political ideology. And then this looks like almost reminds me of Frida coming together, two artists, and what is she that if that is Frida, I don't know, but she used her art for political reasons also to help express herself. And I forget his name, he did as well. Then you have the wands, which is fire, and you have the swords, which is air. And so this is like a stalemate type of a thing. Can't make up a decision, can't make up your mind. It's almost like they're fighting over the girl or the lady, but then they have a Pepsi or something in the back. I don't know. That's interesting. But they're going to battle. He's making a decision about what he's going to grow, what he's going to do next for growth. And the three, okay, so this is like working together. It's almost like a generational span, though, of women because it goes from young to old. And the painter, is he painting the generations and they're kind of critiquing him or something? I don't know, but that's an interesting card. Yeah, the Cubs is a celebration. I like that. You have the Three of Wands, which is expansion. Yeah, he's going to expand. That's interesting. So he's going to expand by moving to a new place. He made his decision holding the globe, and now he's moving on. Okay. And then after that, you have the Three of Swords, which is usually around heartbreak, heartache, and so forth. But it's because the mind snap is so heavy, the heart is broken, and the mind just goes, right? The Three of Swords. Being conquered would definitely break you, wouldn't it? Then the Four. That's might have the Monopoly dude right there, right? Greedy son bitch. All right. And you have the Four of Cups, Four of Wands, and then the Four of Swords. I don't get that relaxing vibe though. I have to read the book. The Five. Oh man. It's a great modern take on the Rider Waite deck. This is just brilliant as far as I'm concerned. The sixes. So usually the six is about getting away, right? And you see the person there in a hazmat suit. Everything's sinking around, but they're moving, but they're not even moving out of smooth water. It's like they're moving out of trash into somewhere else to get away from it. And even the ship is sinking there. Victory, in a sense, right? But at what cost? See, that's what I'm saying about when you read tarot, you really can't go out the books because, sure, you won. When you look at a picture like this, he won, but what was the cost? What was the human cost of that victory? What was it? Yeah, you won, but what was the cost of it? Six of Cups. Okay, and then the Six of Coins. See, this card, people argue with me on. I did a review on this card. If you go to my website, wordofswiss.com, or even search on YouTube on the Six of Pentacles, I talk about this because people always say, well, it's about, given the excess or given what given what is fair, right? Something like that is what the modern meaning is. But when I look at this card too, it also can mean like you're selfish. You're only giving people what you think they deserve because you're too good for them. So it's almost like they're a slave to you and they look up to you and you go, here, peasant, take your pittance. That's kind of the vibe I get even here. Here's this guy and he's like, here's some food. Here you go. It's good enough for you. Now piss off. And yet he's pretty well off, right? It's the same vibe too when you look at the picture of the wider weight. Let me get it real quick because I want to show you this. Somebody actually caused a lot of problems for me, actually. Talking a lot of trash when I said this, but whatever, I don't care. Go watch the video. That's what I said. Go watch the video. Go watch it again. Okay, so here's the card, right? Let me put this deck aside. Now, when you look at this card here, you see what I'm saying? It's like you have this person, he looks kind of smug. At least to me, he does. He's holding a balanced scale, which means this is balanced, and I'm going to give you what I think you're worth. Just enough. It's not really, I have so much that I'm giving you out of the kindness of my heart, and this is my excess. That could be one way of looking at it, but I look at it more like, here, like, this is what I think you're worthy of. I'm not giving you any more because I don't trust you. You're going to go squander it. So I'm going to give you just enough to get you by, but that's it. People don't like that interpretation, but that's how I read it sometimes, right? So that goes back to my point. You can't always use the book meanings. Also, look at the colors, right? He's in red. Red is all around what? Desire, passion, fire. So it's kind of like, it could mean that he feels like ego has inflamed because when you have your fire getting too hot, you get very egotistical. And then the gray, it's his wisdom, his truth on what you deserve. The blue, playing on the emotions of people. Gold is a court, is wealth. He's giving you just what he thinks you need, not a penny more. Again, that's an interpretation. Take it or leave it, but that's one way of reading the card. And here again, I get the same type of vibe. All right, so now we're going to go to the 7. 7. Okay. Isn't that wild? There's a mask off. This is really different. And then here he's holding off the army through faith. Can't make up your mind because what do you really want? And here it's like, did I do enough? Do I have enough for you? Love the vibe. All right, 8. Huh. What is he, like a human test subject or something? Okay. The 9. Again, mastering your craft. What the heck on that 8? That 9? Just drunkenness. That's kind of what it means, though, right? It's like, see, they say this card in the Wilder Way is all about, what was it? I'm trying to think of the book meaning here straight. It's the good luck card or all dreams come true type of card, but I don't get that here. I get more like you're gluttony, you're drunk, you have so much that you just waste it. That's how I'm feeling that card right there. Right or wrong, that's my vibe on that card. Here, she seems plentiful. She's very well off. Nothing to worry about. See, I don't get the feeling there about how defeated and still ready to fight. Maybe to protect the land. I don't know that one. And then the Nine of Swords. I don't get that crisis type of feel on this card at all. About the 10. See, that card is supposed to really be around, well, again, hitting the bottom. But I don't get that feeling. But I do see the different symbols on top. I think those are different religions and icons to past events. Each one has a sword, which created pure destruction, the well being killed. He just sitting like nothing's happening. But everything else is not so great. So maybe that's what it means. I don't know. I have to read the book. If you get this deck, I read the book because there's gonna be little differences here that I'm not picking up on. I don't want to read it as Rider Waite, so I'm trying to really just look at the cards like you for the first time to see what I think or what I feel. And see, here it's like the priest or the father or whatever you want to call him is bringing peace to the Indian lady. And there's a child being born there, rabbit's fertility. And then the Snell's all about it's not a race, it's a marathon. It takes a long time to move to get things to change, but always ends up good. Here's more like generational wealth, and I do get that vibe there with the king. I think that's a king. Here is like you're doing all the work yourself, not sharing the load. So I can definitely feel you feel overburdened on that. But again, the 10 kind of throws me for a loop. Now we're going to go into the court cards, and we start with the Maiden of Swords. Okay, so they're going between Knave and Maiden. Is that right? Hold on. Yeah. So these are the pages, right? Don't know why this one is feminine, but it is. So that'd be like your page, right? This is your page. But she's just ready to go at it. Okay. Next we have the Knights. I wonder why the page is feminine on that one. On the sword. So you have the Knight of Swords, Knight of Wands, Knight of Cups. You can feel the good news. Here you feel the movement ready to charge into battle. Here is like you do feel like he wants to go out and conquer as well because he's getting ready to kill and slay that dragon. And then here you have the Knight of Pentacles coins. George Washington, huh? That's the money. So when I see the Knight of Pentacles, it's this very slow moving card. It's more about exploration, trying to find the treasure chest type of a vibe, and that's what George Washington did, right? If that's who that's supposed to be, I don't know. Next, we have the Queens. No cat. Interesting. Lots of swords. The cat's on the wand. Okay, there's a cat right there. I swear, because the red, I thought it was the wands, but it's not. It's the air. It's the sword. So it threw me off a little bit because the coloring. Usually this is more yellow. This would be more of your red tones. This would be your blues, and this would be more your greens. So it's a little bit different. So be careful of that. If you're used to the color, be careful of that. Then we have the kings. And that is all the cards. So let's go and do a quick shuffle and see how they feel, how they work, right? Give me a second here. I do want to look at one thing though, before we try to shuffle the deck and look into the cards. I want to see something about that page because it did throw me for a loop. So here it says that Saint Barbara holds a sword in her hand and a large goblet in the left that reads H2O, which is water. Okay. This Catholic saint is popular throughout the Americas. I did not know that. She was an early Christian martyr who died defending her faith and defying the will of her father and the authorities. You get that vibe from that card for sure. She is often depicted holding a sword, a chalice, a palm branch, or a miniature tower in the background. People protest and wave an indigenous rainbow flag as they are met with anti-riot police. A water pipe crosses in front of both sides. The scene refers to a series of protests known as the Cochabamba Water War that took place in Bolivia between 1999 and 2000. This deck is phenomenal. I would definitely buy it. I'm not even going to wait to the end to do that. So let's just do a quick shuffle to see how they shuffle. Okay. It's probably one of my more favorite decks I've came across in a while. Just even though it's modern, I really like it. Shuffle's fine. They're a little bit long, so it's kind of hard. It's probably better to shuffle them that way. Yeah, the cards look fine. They hold well. They got that nice coating on them. They're kind of like a semi-gloss, I would say. So yeah, they're gonna last you quite a while. All right. What we got here for us? Just give us a quick message. Yeah. So rather than me give you my spiel on this, what does this card mean according to them? Because really it's around abundance, right? So if I was reading this for you today, I'd say, hey, I would go off the color. It's a new deck, right? So I don't really know the deck. So I would say to you is like, hey, you're doing well for yourself, but remember your humanity. The pink goes back to humanity, and the white is truth. So remember to always keep true to who you are. Always put people over profit, and you'll do well. Okay? That's how I read that. And if you can follow that, then you'll have great abundance and wealth. And you won't lose because people are going to respect you and love you. Right? That's how I read that 9 card. Now, how do they read it? 9 of coins is right here. It says a young, beautiful woman or lady wearing a sumptuous rococo dress, a white wig, and white gloves holds a colorful tropical parrot in her left arm. She is modeled after Francisca de Silva de Oliveira, also known as Sycia or Syca de Silva. She was an 18th century woman, mixed race Brazilian woman, who's popularly known as the slave who became queen. That's your rags to riches. She inspired numerous works of literature, music, film, and even TV soap opera. That's cool. She remains a symbol of racial integration and a fascinating historical female figure who worked her way with wit, charm, beauty, and luck into freedom from slavery and subsequently into highly racist and elitist colonial society. This card often refers to self-sufficiency and personal fulfillment. In the background, a modern woman is taking a selfie with her phone, an angel recording her on a TV camera, and a billboard advertising plastic surgery and comments on current social superficial celebrities and influential status or influencer status. The Knight of Coins is a card about accomplishments through perseverance and self-confidence. When this card shows up in a reading, we can usually interpret it as a raise, promotion of any sort into societal status. It could also mean that life or comfort or prosperity is waiting if we handle our social and material assets well, right? People over profits, not profit over people. The parrot on her arm is a purveyor of good fortune and beauty. It is an expression of good things coming your way in life. That is the deck. And again, I'm going to give this deck a thumbs up. I'm going to tell you to go out and buy it. And I don't think you're going to regret it because it's just a really beautiful, wonderful deck. So that's the read I have on this deck for today. If you enjoyed this and would like to keep up to date with what I'm doing, head over to wordswithtwist.com. Sign up for my newsletter because I'm always adding new things. Sometimes aren't always on YouTube because I'm doing a lot of written work as well lately. Check it out, have it delivered. You're going to enjoy it. And also become a member because some of the stuff that I have is not public, right? So I do have 2 tiers, free membership, paid membership. Doesn't matter. And both of them have value because it's stuff you're not going to get available to you in the public. Anyway, that's all I got for today. And until next time, see you later. All right. Bye, everyone.